All right, end of arm tooling. This is something that I would say 80% of our customers supply their own end of arm tools, or already have end of arm tools existing. Sometimes they have us design and install those as well. You know, most of the time it's the customer supplying that end effector. Now, end of arm tooling, you know, all it is just allows the robot to go in and grab a part out of the mold cavity. You know, most end of arm toolings use vacuum and gripper circuits, although some end of arm tooling requires outputs for stuff like optic sensors or flash heating parts as well. But most of the time, it's all the robot requires for end of arm tool is just inputs from the end of arm tool, so we can determine whether we have a part on the end effector or not. All of our this is important right here. All of the sensors that are on our end of arm tool that are being connected to our robot, those sensors need to be NPN sensors, not PNP. They need to be NPN, which is a load sinking sensor. So that's important. We do run into issues every now and then with customers. They have end of arm tools already existing that are PNP. Those are not compatible. So they would have to just change the sensors on their grippers so they could match NPN sensors. Now, each robot comes with 2 vacuum circuits and 2 gripper circuits by default. Now the customer can order as many gripper and vacuum circuits as they'd like, but our robots come with 2 of each. We have one line, each vacuum circuit gets 1 line, and each gripper circuit gets 2 lines. So each gripper circuit has 2 pneumatic lines. 1 line is for gripper open, 1 line is for gripper closed. In order for the robot to receive input signals from vacuum confirmation, you know, we have when our vacuum's engaged, we generate suction at the end of arm tool, and that suction is, you know, that air is being sucked in through these vacuum cups. We have vacuum sensors on our robot that detect whether or not we have a part on that suction cup. If we do have a part, then our vacuum pressure is going to rise above a certain set point that is set on those sensors. Okay. Once we achieve that set point, then we have a vacuum input. If we do not, if our part is not made on that suction cup, then we're never going to hit that set point on our vacuum sensor. We're never going to receive that vacuum input. I'm going to show you how to change those vacuum sensors in a little bit. They're pretty simple to change. It's only a couple buttons.
What about sensing for gripper circuits?
Great question. The sensing for gripper circuits, we actually need to install sensors on our grippers to sense if we have parts on the grippers themselves. Those are universal sensors, and those sensors, again, they need to be NPN sensors, and they're mounted into the grooves of the grippers, and we need to position them in a way so when we close the gripper fingers, if it senses a part, then the sensor is made, and if it misses a part, the sensor will not be made. So we won't receive gripper input if we miss a part.
But they are wired, the inputs?
The inputs so we have what we call a 25-pin connector, and that's at the end of the robot arm, okay? And that is for gripper confirmation signals, or any spare confirmation signals. Now, that comes with 6 available inputs at the end of the arm, plus a 24-volt and 0-volt at the end of the arm. And these robots can accept either 2-wire or 3-wire NPN sensors. So a 2-wire NPN sensor would be 1 wire going to 0 volt and 1 wire going to signal. And a 3-wire NPN sensor would have 1 going to 0 volt, 1 going to 24 volt, and 1 going to signal. And again, some customers, they have what they call a quick disconnect for their end of arm tools, and they want them uniform across all robots. They had this at what was that place we went to? I've been Revachel. We went to Revachel. They required quick disconnects on all the end of the arms, which is fine. We can definitely accommodate that. We just need to be made aware of that, ideally before we get on site, so we can take care of that, you know, while we're doing robot testing. So what happens is for that, you know, we'll remove that 25-pin connector, will terminate those 6 input wires into their particular quick disconnect connector that they use at their facility. So when they go to interchange end of arm tools, it's just a quick plug and play.
What's the turnaround time of getting end of arms built? Do you build them here?
We build them in our facility in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
That's where ARI's headquarters are out of. And the turnaround time for that depends. Right now we're really busy, so we're looking at maybe a month turnaround time.
Okay.
It depends on the complexity of the end of arm tool as well and the application. If it's a simple end of arm tool with a couple suction cups and grippers, I would say maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. If it's something like this, then we're looking at maybe a month out.
Does ARI have quick change Eoat adapter plate?
Yes, we actually have an end of arm tool form that we send out to sales reps and customers that they can fill out, and they can actually they can select what kind of quick change they want. They can select what kind of quick disconnect for the signaling connectors that they want. Andy Lee, he is our mechanical engineer. He's an incredible kid. He's from he's got a degree from Cornell Northeastern. So he's really smart, and he does all of our end of arm tool design and most of the fabrication as well. So he does a great job with that stuff. All right, now here's that 25-pin connector I was telling you guys about. This is located at the end of the arm. We have 6 available inputs, and then we have our 24 volt, and then we have our 0 volt right here. This is located on every end of the arm of the robot.